in this part, we're going to store some data to our database. So first of all, what you need to do is go to your Android Studio, go to File, Project Structure, and inside that go to Cloud, and make sure that you have checked this button, because it is going to add one more dependency for our Firebase client and add a permission for internet access, and it will do some modification to our android.manifest, because those are really necessary to work with Firebase. So make sure that you check that, and it will start syncing the project, because I have already done it. So here we are. So next thing we want to do is we want to add a button over here. So what exactly we want this button for? Whenever user clicks on this button, it should add something to our database. So this is like pretty basic function, but don't worry about that. So add value to Firebase, and I'm gonna give it an ID of add item, add string maybe. So now we can go to our main activity.java. Here I can reference my button, so I'm gonna call it a private button, and let's name it send string. Send data will be much better for it instead of add data, add string. All right, so here inside the onCreate method, we can reference it by typing in send data, casting it button, find view by id, r.id.send data button. So there we have referenced our button. Now the next thing that you want to do is, before working with Firebase, you need to set the context. But you can do it by creating an extension class, but we're gonna do that later, because in this part we're gonna save some time, because the only function that we are working with is adding a data to our Firebase. So let's save us some time. So first of all, the first thing you need to do is Firebase dot set Android context to this. So right now we are only working with one activity, so we can add it like this, but if you have many, the next thing that I'm going to be showing you in the later part. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is private Firebase. We're going to create an Firebase variable here, so I'm going to name it mref. All right, and then here we can set the reference. So mref equals, and it is going to be equal to new Firebase, and inside this you need to insert the link to your database. So this is like pretty much setting a connection between your database. So I'm gonna click this button. There's no copy button. Just select this link inside the database, copy this and paste it inside this these quotes. So once you typed in, your database is now connected with your mref variable over here. So next thing that you want to do is send data. This is the button. Let's add a set on click listener. Set on click listener, new on click listener. So every time when a user taps this button, it should perform some function. So that we can add it here. Now we are getting some error. That's pretty weird because it's not showing anything to us. All right, maybe we can, where is that clean button, build clean project? So till the time it's cleaning the project, we can go over and discuss a little bit things about our database here. So currently considering it as an object, if you click the button, it adds a child to this main object, and you can call it whatever you want. So let's say we call it name and set its value to Akshay, and hit enter. Now you can see that our main object has a child object with the value of Akshay. So this is like setting up your child object manually, but we want to do it with our Android app. So let's delete this one and let's go to Android Studio. So the error is gone. Next thing that you want to do is we're going to create one more Firebase variable, and I'm going to call it mref child. So that's how our child will be created. So this is going to be equal to mref.child, and you can name it whatever you want. So in this way, our mref is going to add one child to this main object. So this main object is pretty much like this main link, and if you add a child, it's like adding a child here. So I'm going to say name. This is the same thing as adding it inside here. Like if you add it like this is the same thing as this one here, but let's not worry about this right now. So here you can create a child, then you can say mrefchild.setValue, and you can set it to anything you want. So let's fire up the app and let's wait for it to load. So it will take a little time if you are running it for the first time, but you'll get used to it. So I hope you guys are understanding what objects are, how these objects are working. So once our app gets started, it will make more sense to you once we will start working on a few things. Too slow. There is one more thing that I want to mention you guys is in our database there is this rules tab, and if you open it up, it may be something like this for you guys. So if this means that read and write permissions are not granted to the users, so that means you can't actually access this database from your app without registering to your auth database. So how you can pass this is just remove this and set it equal to null and hit publish. So that way you will be able to access the database, or else you won't for this part. So once your Gradle build is finished, still waiting. Alright, so it's now installing the APK. Let's open up your console and also your emulator. So once the app is running, now remember that I told you guys, make sure that you change the rules from auth equals null and publish it. Make sure you do that, or else you won't be able to add data. So once your app is running, here we have a button. So what it should do is, when I click on the button, it should add a child to it and then set the value to Akshay. So if I open up the emulator and click this button, now you can see that it has created a child and added a value. So that's pretty simple for this part, and I hope you guys understand how exactly this is functioning, because we're gonna do some little bit complicated task in the next part. So I'm pausing it for today here, and probably be adding few more parts tomorrow. So see you guys till then. Make sure you check the updates in the playlist.